It's Black History Month.
Hello, my name's Odessa Esco. Happy Black History Month and welcome to part 13 of my 28-day Black History Month series. In the last videos I've made, I talked about what it means to be radicalized, how I felt before I was radicalized, how I felt and what radicalized me, and now I'm talking about who I am as a person now. After the Black Lives Matter movement, some may say, the protests that took place in 2020, there was a lot of support from non-Black people. There were new terms that were invented like BIPOC that would suggest unity of non-white people together. Black, Indigenous, people of color, there were lots of labels given and lots of businesses and companies were doing things for the Black community. People were painting murals, people were writing Black Lives Matter everywhere, and it felt really hopeful. But time went on, and just like any trend, people got tired and bored. As a Black person, I didn't have that luxury. It wasn't like, oh, okay, we're not painting BLM on the wall anymore. There's no need. I'm still in this reality as a Black person. I still have those fears and concerns. And seeing people kind of forget or treat the Black Lives Matters protest as a little event, a timeline, a beginning and end, now it's over, really opened my eyes to the reality that the world I want to see, I'm not going to see in my lifetime. It's just not going to happen. There have always been big moments of uprise and, vocalizing and visual representation of Black people fighting back from the Black Panthers and different groups. And, what happened in 2020 was inspiring, that people could get together, donate, and fundraise. But as it dwindled away, and I still had the same energy and the same fire, I had to understand that this is a lot of emotional work. It's draining to keep going and going and going like tomorrow is going to be changed if you yell today. I had to accept the reality that I need to find balance in my life. I can't give myself away to a cause and not be appreciative of what has been happening. It took me a while to realize, of course, the world's not perfect, but I am truly blessed to be able to dress and look how I am, to be able to walk the streets, still not at night, but I have a lot of privilege and rights that were given to me because of people like me. And the things I do are probably not going to be for me. They'll be for the next generation. And what they do will be for the next generation. And I began to look at, my activism, fighting for Black rights and human equality around the world. I started to accept that this is a lifelong journey and that's a process. It's not a moment. And I can't burn myself out. I can't expect the same interest and level of energy that I have to be in everybody. And that's truly okay. It used to make me angry, especially after I was radicalized and I was understanding that this is a fight that's ongoing. It's an active fight for freedom amongst everybody in the world against racism and oppression of all types. It's still an active fight. There's no place in the world that's perfect. And there's not going to be. If there is, not in this lifetime, not in my lifetime. And that's not because I don't believe that things are changing, but I have to accept that it takes time and it takes desire and interest, and everybody has a right to live their life now. Some people are in circumstances where it's almost impossible to think about anybody but themselves. And I'm not just talking about in war-torn countries, but in the places that are polished and nice, and honestly the countries that are causing the war-torn countries, like America and Canada. It's not always easy for people. People are poor. People are uneducated, sometimes intentionally so. People are facing individual struggles like abuse or addiction, and they're not in the right mindset or financial situation to focus on anything but their day-to-day survival. I understand this because I also know that these circumstances are also created. It's like a circle. You don't have time to care about anybody else, so you don't care about anybody else. But caring about somebody else would help you and improve your situation in the long run. But you don't have time. You might have children, you might have elderly parents, people who depend on you to just go to work and make that money. You don't have time to be the person that's saying, hey, money's not real. We need to focus on this or that. You just don't have that luxury. What I'm saying makes perfect sense to me now, but there was a time I was just so pent up with energy and, years of not saying anything. I was just like, we all have to march. We all have to do this. Let's riot. Let's break things. I feel like that a lot still, and I find other ways, more realistic and beneficial ways to put my energy when I can't do those things. I was traveling abroad a lot, and I wasn't able to be in the Americas and go to protests out there. I went to some in Canada, but then I began traveling again. And those communities, like in Mexico, they're dealing with their own issues, like child prostitution and femicide. I went to rallies and marches for things like that while I was there. And I did not expect them to be upholding, BLM, Black Lives Matters, and Black specific issues. I understood that their fight is a fight against oppression, and all fights against oppression are valid and honestly work together in the long run. Finding balance has been a journey, but it's also led me to things like this YouTube channel. Teaching English and being exposed to different types of people and cultures and ignorances have taught me how important everything is. It's about your intentionality. When I teach English, my intention is to help people with their communication and also broaden their perspective through mine, as I let them do it for me through theirs. I learn about different cultures. I learn about different races. And in turn, I feel empowered to speak about my own and, get rid of stereotypes. When people come to a classroom with me and they have a racial stereotype about Black people, I no longer just brush it off and focus on the English. I dive into it through English communication. We're learning anyways. Why not learn about culture as well? This is the entire point of my English and culture playlist, and furthermore, my presence in the English teaching community. I saw there weren't people like me, and there weren't people doing what I'm doing. And being able to make money and fight for the things I believe is necessary. Because at the end of the day, no matter how evil I think commerce is and how evil I think, having to work and go to school and learn to be a worker is, I understand that right now I need food. I need shelter. There are some things, I have been forced to do, but I have to do them to survive. Mixing my survival with my dreams and my hopes for the world is the best compromise I can think of right now. Going one way or the other, not focusing on anything but your work, it wasn't for me. Only focusing on changing the world and bigger issues than food on your table for the night wasn't working for me either. I had to find a balance. So my post-radicalization, it really consisted of a process, SCSC, sadness. I was really sad that people could forget about, to me, it felt like forget about issues. And then I realized there's issues I'm not engaged with. What's happening in Congo, Sudan, Haiti, countries all around the world experiencing war-torn environments and anti-Blackness directly affected by imperialism and colonialism. What's happening in Palestine. is a prime example. I had to realize, I'm not capable of fighting every single battle. And I can't expect people to fight my battles. You fight what you can, and you respect what other people are fighting for, because at the end of the day, we're all fighting for the same thing, and it'll benefit us all if we're truly fighting for the eradication, the removal of oppression. C, confusion. After I was really sad, I was confused on what I should do now. Okay, so I understand I can't do everything and everybody else can't do everything. So what do? I was really confused until I found some solitude. So that's the second S. Solitude was me traveling and kind of focusing on myself. Once I realized, the world's not changing tomorrow and I can't expect people to have the same drive as me, it kind of made me feel disconnected from my family, from people who weren't on the same page as me. So when I was in my solitude, traveling, kind of just focusing on me and trying to figure out what I'm doing on planet Earth, I met more and more people like me who felt similar, who were on their own individual journeys, and it made me feel rejuvenated and refreshed and gave me perspective on what I should be doing with my life and finding that balance. So the conclusion was, I am the change as an individual. The things I believe and my intentions that I put into my small everyday actions are what will help the entire world. If you live your life in a way that fights oppression, even something like teaching English lessons can help that goal if you put the intentionality into it. And with that, I'll end this little section of the mini series I'm doing for Black History Month. You've seen what it was for me before I was radicalized, what it felt like and what radicalized me. And now this is me. After my radicalization, my day-to-day activities are still with the intentions and the hopes of a different world, with the focus of Black struggle and Black excellence. But I'm always looking to find balance, and I take the time to look at other causes and other people's struggles, just like I'd want them to take the time and look and listen to mine. So please feel free to leave your stories in the comments about your radicalization, issues in your country, issues your community faces. I would love to hear what's going on around the world, even during Black History Month. I would like to learn about other people. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next. Stay cute. Bye.